Hey guys, hope y'all are doing well. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica Nicole. I'm a self-published author of YA fantasy romance novels, and in today's video, I'm actually going to finally be doing my February reading and writing wrap-up and my March reading writing plans, March TBR situation. So, here we go. What I wrote in February, I started book 2 of my Crimson Silver series. It's looking like it's going to be a duology, so my Crimson Silver duology. I started book 2, Moonrise, and I wrote about 20,000 words in that book in February. I was shooting for 40, so I got about halfway to my goal, but that is fine. I plan on being really diligent in March and making up for that. And what I'm planning to write in March is about 60,000 words to make up for the 20 in February, because my goal is to write 40,000 words every single month, so that I can take this novel from start to finish in 3 months. The last book took me 7 months from start to finish. My book before that took me a little over a year, so I'm getting better. The goal is 3 months start to finish. So that's my plan for March, 60,000 words in Moonrise, and that's what I'm focusing on. I'm also focusing on planning a book 2 to turn my Sparks and Shadows novel into a duology, because I really want to show what happens to the characters after the events of the first book. I think there's a lot to explore with another character in the series, so, well, in the book, but it's going to be a series, it's going to be a duology. So in March I'm going to be planning that second book, so super excited about that. And that's my writing wrap up for February and my writing plans for March. Into the reading, what I read this month, I managed to read 3 books this month, so I'm super proud of myself. On Audible, because the other 2 books are part of a series, so I'll talk about them together. On Audible, I read The Bridge Kingdom. This is by Danielle Jensen, and it follows the story of 2, a prince and a princess, well, a king and a princess, from 2 feuding kingdoms. Laura, our main female character, has been raised to sort of be the spy assassin by her father. Her and her sisters have been raised out in the desert, basically being abused, being mistreated, just to kind of prepare them to be like soldiers, because when Laura was 5, I think, her dad signed a peace treaty. Her dad is the king of Mardrina, and he signed a peace treaty with the king of Ithacana, to basically end the fighting between them, the 2 countries. Basically, Mardrina and Ithacana have beef because Ithacana controls this big bridge that's like the source of the kingdom's wealth, because they charge taxes on the goods that travel across the bridge. The water is really dangerous, and so you basically need the bridge for safe travel. There's like sharks and monsters and storms, and everybody's fighting everybody. There's like 5 kingdoms and they all hate each other, so the bridge is the only safe way, and Ithacana controls the bridge. So King Silas, who is Lara's father, wants to basically take over Ithacana so that they can control the bridge. Okay, so he trains his daughters so that one of them will eventually marry the the king of Ithacana. So the girls all know, well, no, our main girl finds out, Laura finds out the night before, like, the king is going to make his selection, that he plans on killing all the girls that are not chosen. So he's going to kill all his kids, all his daughters that know about this plan, because he can't let the plan get out. He's going to kill like all the teachers and servants and everyone that was involved. She finds out about this, and so she basically does something to ensure that she's his only choice. And I was like, dang. And that happens like in the first chapter, so I was just like immediately sucked into this book. It's a wild ride. So much character development for Laura, and I love Arin. I love him so much. The king that she marries, he's Basically nothing like she's told he will be, and he's so kind and protective and funny, and yeah. So I love them. I love them together. I love Laura and Aaron just as separate characters. I love the character development from Laura. I love how like strong and amazing she is. Like, this is a perfect one for March, honestly, for like Women's History Month. I love that. She's like just such a kick butt character, and she takes charge of her life, and I love it so much. And yeah, I enjoyed this. I flew through it, and there is a sequel, so I will be reading that sequel in March. The other two books that I read in February, I read the first two books in the Caraval trilogy. I read Caraval and Legendary. I talked about these a little bit, but a brief rundown of this is that, oh, I gave the Bridge Kingdom, haven't given it a rating yet, but I think I would give this one 3 out of 5 stars, just because it's a little heavy on the politics at some point, which I like. I get it. The politics are a huge part of the plot, but I found myself like just wanting, okay, hurry up and get it out of the way already. And I felt like the politics kind of drug on in certain parts of the book. But that's the only thing. But still a great book. Still highly recommend. So the Caraval book is the first one I read because it's the first one in the series. This series is by Stephanie Garber. I wanted to read this series. It wasn't actually on my radar. I'd heard of it, but I wasn't really interested in it. I have the first two books in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, and I wanted to read those, but I heard that they had spoilers for Caraval, so if you wanted to ever read Caraval, you should read that before. So I decided to pick up Caraval, and I'm so glad that I did. This story basically follows two sisters who are in like this horrible situation. Their mom left when they were young, and they were left with their abusive father. And the older sister, the girls are like a year apart, so they kind of feel more like twins, or kind of like two halves of the same coin, which I really like. But the older sister has always kind of taken it upon herself to protect her younger sister, and so in this world there used to be magic. There used to be like these gods and stuff running around causing havoc, but now magic is kind of few and far between. There are certain people that have it, certain people that don't, and one of the people that have magic is the Master of Caraval, Legend. And Scarlet, the older sister, has been writing to Legend for years, wanting him to bring Caraval to the island that she lives on, so that her and her sister can basically just forget their troubles for a little while and experience the show. It's kind of like a performance in a game, and at the end there's always a prize. So she has been writing to Legend for years. He finally writes back to her and sends her 3 tickets for Caraval because she told him that she was engaged. So Tella, who is the younger sister, and the boy she's like currently dating, they kind of trick Scarlet into going to Caraval. Scarlet's scared of what their dad will do if he finds out, and so they end up going to Caraval. The two sisters end up getting separated. Tella is actually like kidnapped, and the goal of Caraval this year, the goal of the game, is to find Tella, and the person that finds Tella will be granted a wish. And so much craziness ensues from there. It's such a wild ride. I really enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought it would. I will say that I gave this book 4 stars instead of 5 because at times it felt like the pacing was a little bit off. Certain events drug a little bit, like they were kind of slow, and I felt like I'd read them before, or I'd been reading them forever. And then certain events, like it happened so fast, and it was like there and gone in a flash. So the pacing was a little bit off, but that's okay. It didn't take away from the story. I still enjoyed it so much. I love Julian. I really did not like Tella in this book. I don't know what it is about like these books with sisters, but I always like one of the sisters more, and I hate the other sister. But I really liked this. I really enjoyed it. I love Stephanie Garber's writing. I love how easy it is to read. It was so easy to read. I flew through this book so fast, but it's not simplistic. Like, it's very poetic the way she writes scenes and characters. and I loved it so much, and I immediately went into the second book, Legendary. This one follows Tella. So this book was told from Scarlett's point of view, and then this book is told from Tella's point of view. And so I did like Tella a lot more in this book. I feel like Scarlett is who I am and Tella is who I want to be, basically. I enjoyed her so much more in this book because I think it's told from her perspective, and we get to see why she does some of the things that she does. Same thing with the Wilderwood duology by Hannah Witten. Y'all know my story with Red and Neve, and same thing happened here. So I really enjoyed Tella. I enjoyed Dante so much. I enjoyed meeting Jax. I enjoyed their little like love triangle situation thing happening in here, kind of weirdness. I loved the magic in this so much more. I feel like, I don't know if I'm right, I'm probably not, but I feel like as an author I was able to pick up on the fact that we wrote this book and we wanted to continue the story, so we tied some stuff into this book, because these kind of feel like the magic feels totally different. Like she did a good job of tying them together, but I could tell like these kind of feel like two different, like they're from two different series to me. So that's okay, I've done that, and that's fine. But I picked up on it. It didn't take away from the reading experience at all. In fact, I loved how she kind of brought some stuff from the first book and like tied it in to make it work, to make it make sense. But yeah, I love the magic in this book so much more. It is so just lush and beautiful and mind-blowing. I love that we go to a new setting, because the first one is set on Legends Island, and then this one is set on like the capital island of the whole like country, and there's so much more like depth to the setting and to the characters, I feel like, because we get to see Scarlett again. She's still here, and Julian's still here. A lot of the Caraval performers that we met are still here, but we get introduced to new characters and just new higher stakes. The stakes are so much higher in this. It's just perfection, and I loved it, and I gave this one 5 stars. And those are the 3 books that I read in March. The books that I'm going to read, not in March, in February. The books that I'm going to read in March kind of feed off of these books a little bit. So I want to read 5 books in March. I kind of want to push myself a little bit. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom. I'm going to listen to this on Audible, The Traitor Queen. It's, from what I can tell, it picks up right where the last one left off. Laura has a job to do and she's gonna do it, and yeah, I'm just so excited to jump right into that. I'm also equally excited it's March the 6th when I'm filming this, so I've been reading a little bit. I haven't started The Traitor Queen yet, but I have started Finale, which is the 3rd book in the Caraval series. I love how this one is gonna have like alternating points of view, so we're gonna get to hear from both of the sisters. I am on chapter 12 right now, so I've been reading a little bit, and I love where this one's going, picking up right where the 2nd book left off, and I love it. Very fast pace, very high stakes, just all of that. So I'm reading that as well. I got a Kindle this year for my birthday in February, and I am so excited. I love it so much. Like, I really do. It's so lightweight and portable and just easy for like reading in bed in the dark, something I can't do with like hardcovers or paperbacks. And sometimes I don't really feel like listening to audio either. I love audio like when I'm on the go, but this has been great for on the go too. And so the 3rd book on my March TBR is By a Thread by Lucy Score, and this is like totally out of what I usually read. You guys know me, I don't really read like contemporary romance at all. Like, it's just boring to me, but like this book was free on Kindle Unlimited, and I just decided to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. Am I gonna become a contemporary romance reader? No, but this one is, so far, I'm about halfway through it, because I can't stop reading it. It's addicting, it's funny, it's heartwarming, and just fresh takes on things, and I really love it. It's about a girl who is she meets this guy who's kind of a jerk. He gets her fired from her like fifth side hustle or whatever because she's like falling on hard times. She's got like this unbelievable heartbreaking situation going on in her life right now, but the guy doesn't know that, and he gets her fired from her job for being rude to him, which he's rude too, but anyways. And his mom is like this big editor at a fashion magazine. Like it gives me the Devil Wears Prada vibes, but if like Miranda Priestley was nice. And so she gives the main girl, Allie, a job that she cannot be fired from. And so Allie and Dominic, the lady's son, they're kind of in a forced proximity situation, but their like relationship is forbidden. For one, like they start off hating each other, and then for two, when they realize that there's more to what they feel than hate, there's this like whole no fraternization policy at the company because Dominic's dad was like a creep. He was like creeping on people at the company, and so they had to put in the whole like rule. It's like a whole thing, and so I'm in the middle of that right now, and I can't wait to jump back into it. I literally am obsessed with this book, and I really like it. I wish more contemporary romances were like this. The other book I'm going to be reading on my Kindle, I just started. I'm literally on chapter 2. It's That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. So I really liked this book. I thought that the premise was kind of weird, something I've never read before. But I'm excited to get into it. I liked the summary that I read. I will say that it's super funny. It's like a rom-com, but for like fantasy readers. I don't know. I've never read a book like this before, and I have really enjoyed it so far. And this is by Kimberly Lemming. There's a book 2 in this. This was also free with Kindle Unlimited. There's a book 2 in this, and then there's like a little novella that goes with it. So I'll probably be reading those 2 just because I really am enjoying her writing style. I haven't gotten into much of like the romance yet, but so far the world building is great, and it's a really short read. So I think that's like smart to add that to my TBR when I'm trying to read more books, a shorter read. And then the last book that I'm going to read, I'm actually going to be doing this a combination of audio and this hardcover. So I'm going to finally be reading Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I'm so excited to get into this. I think between this and between like the Caraval Girls and between Laura from the Bridge Kingdom, I'm setting myself up to have like a great Women's History Month with like kickback characters, just from what I've heard about Brie. This is basically about a girl who is still reeling from the unexpected death of her mom. She's starting a new school, I believe, and so when she gets there, she's attacked by a demon. This guy saves her, and he tries to wipe her memory, but it doesn't work because she's got like powers too that she doesn't know about. And she's convinced that the secret society at her new school has something to do with her mom's death. And we're trying to figure that out and trying to figure out like what's going on. She's figuring out her powers, figuring out like what happened to her mom, figuring out that demons exist, and like the truth about who she actually is. And I have not started this, but I've heard so many amazing things about it. So much so that I already bought the second book, but I'm not reading that one in March because I'm already like trying not to set myself up for failure with 5 books. But yeah, those are the 5 books I'm planning on reading in March. I'm already in between. Well, I've already started 2 of them, 2.5 kind of. So I'm on a good trajectory to get these 5 books read. So I'm super excited about that. That's going to conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see from me in the future, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.